Hello and welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. My name is Carrie Carolyn and I'm here with my spooky co-host Katie.
Hello.
We are delighted to be chatting with you this month about all the cool, dark, and interesting YA young adult books coming out in August 2022. We have a huge list of picks. We have not read them yet. We've just been reading about them and getting really excited.
Yes.
And it has been hot horribly here. We're finally getting a little relief. And I can actually go outside and read in the yard in the shade right now. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice.
I love celebrating each season in its own time, but when it's been horribly damnation hot, it makes me look forward to fall.
Yeah.
And today I was snooping around Michael's and Joanne's crafts, and it made me want to grab a pumpkin spice latte and go to a bookstore.
It's too hot for pumpkin spice, but I get it.
It is.
I get it.
So, I wanted to start off by saying, hey, remember that if we're chatting about some books that you think sound really good and you want to buy them, don't forget we have the affiliate links in our show notes here on our podcast website, darksideofthelibrary.com. You can click the link, buy the book, and we'll get a few pennies for recommending it to you. Moving on, I wanted to jump in arrogantly first with the first book today. Sorry,
Yay!
Katie.
No,
My
you're
turn.
fine.
The first book I have on my list is All of Our Demise. It's part of the All of Us Villains series, book 2, by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. It comes out August 30. Has a gorgeous cover of a woman reaching up with beautiful rings on her fingers and everything's red and black. Ah!
Ooh.
It is the epic conclusion to this duology, All of Us Villains. So for the first time in this ancient bloodstained story, the tournament is breaking. The boundaries between the city of Ilvernath and the arena have fallen. Reporters are swarming the historic battlegrounds, and a dead boy now lives again.
Oh,
And
wow.
a new champion has entered the fray, one who seeks to break the curse for good, no matter how many lives are sacrificed in the process. Uh-oh, friendly fire. So long-held alliances will be severed, hearts will break, lives will end, because a tale as wicked as this one was never destined for happily ever after. Well, so if you want a happy ending, don't read this one, but the publisher is Tortine. It's meant for grade level 7 to 9 or reading age 13 to 18 years, or in my case, goth grandmother alert. That's All of Our Demise, book 2 of the All of Us Villains series by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman.
I had no idea Tor had a teen subsect. That's cool. I like that. So my first book for today is called Beguiled. It comes out August 23rd. This is by Kyla Pannon. So this is a dark and enthralling story about a young woman who makes a deal with a spirit to try and gain her independence. And you know that that's always a bad idea. So this is for reading ages 14 through 17. This is by Amulet Books. Ella is a 17-year-old weaver whose entire livelihood depends on her loom. She dreams of opening her own shop, but when her father died in a debtor's prison, she had to support herself by taking whatever clients she can get. This is an interesting story already. In order to buy her supplies, she goes into debt of her own, and when her loom breaks, Ella realizes she needs more help than a repair person can give her. She, like everybody, has heard about the old washerwoman spirit called the Bean Nye, who will grant any one wish for a price. So this must be a Irish folktale kind of retelling. That's really cool. So Bella is desperate, so she asks the spirit to fix her loom, and it works. The loom is fixed, and she creates beautiful pieces she could never have imagined before. All she has to do is feed the loom a drop of blood each time she weaves.
Oh, that's where the catch comes in.
Right? So a small price to pay for such magnificent silks, and when she brings 2 bolts to a rich client, she meets a mysterious young man named Callum and bargains for an invitation to his exclusive party.
I'm guessing he's really handsome.
He has to be. At that party, he's so mesmerized by her talent, he offers Ella a place to live and patronage for her art. It seems like Ella's fortune is finally turning for the better until she begins to notice the loom taking more from her than she offered. Oh God.
Oh,
the
boy.
blood-sucking loom. So as she becomes entangled in the lies of the city's rich, swept into Callum's allure, and trapped by the spirit's magic, Ella must find a way to secure her future while she still has one at all. So this is Beguiled. It comes out August 23rd. It's by Kyla Pannon. Super interesting.
That's very clever. I can't say I've ever read a book about a blood-sucking loom. That's pretty cool.
I know.
So my next book is Belladonna. It's by Adeline Grace. It comes out August 30. It is for grade level 9 and up, or reading age 14 years and up. So 19-year-old Signa, who was orphaned as a baby, has been raised by a string of guardians, and each is more interested in her wealth than her well-being. Oh. But notice that each of her guardians has met an untimely end. Well, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. It is my dream in life to have people refer to my home as glittering and gloomy.
I think you can achieve that. I believe in you.
Totally. So the patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties. That's interesting. While his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and the daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger, and she enlists the help of a surly stable boy
Oh my.
to hunt down the killer. And again, I assume the surly stable boy is good looking?
Oh yes.
Or she wouldn't be messing with him? Okay, so her best chance of uncovering the murderer is an alliance with Death himself.
What?
A fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. And although he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine.
Oh my God.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I admit I'm very curious. That is Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and the publisher is Little Brown Books for Young Readers, which is a very eminent publisher, so this can't be a big bag of suck. It must be pretty good.
Yeah. My next book is called Dead Flip. It comes out August 30th. It's by Sarah Farazan, and it looks, I think this might maybe be in the same world as Stranger Things, or it's very, very similar. In fact, even the cover has a lot of those, I call it synthwave vibes. It's got that Dead Flip title, looks almost identical to Stranger Things. So let's talk about the story. Growing up, Corey, Maz, and Sam were inseparable best friends, sharing their love for Halloween, arcade games, and each other. Now it's 1992. Okay, not quite Stranger Things, so maybe further in the future. Sam has been missing for 5 years, and Corey and Maz aren't speaking anymore. How could they when Corey is sure Sam is dead and Maz thinks he may have been kidnapped by a supernatural pinball machine? What is up with these inanimate objects this month? So these days, all Maz wants to do is party, buy CDs at Sam Goody, and run away from his past. Meanwhile, Corey is a homecoming queen, hiding her abiding love of horror movies and her queer self under the bubblegum veneer of a high school queen bee. But when Sam returns, still 12 years old, while his best friends are now 17, Maz and Corey are thrown back together to solve the mystery of what really happened to Sam the night he went missing. Beneath the surface of that mystery lurk secrets the friends never told one another then and now, and Sam's is the darkest of all. This sounds really interesting. Like, if I looked at the cover, I probably wouldn't have picked this up, to be perfectly honest. But the story sounds fun and interesting. So this is for reading ages 12 to 18. It's only 275 pages long, so pretty easy. Check it out. It's called Dead Flip by Sarah Farazan.
My next book is a magical, ethereal fantasy. It's also from Little Brown Books for young readers. It's called The Drowned Woods. It's by Emily Lloyd Jones. Comes out August 16. So once upon a time, the kingdoms of Wales were rife with magic and conflict. An 18-year-old Mererid, known as Mare, is well acquainted with both. She's the last living water diviner. And she spent years running from the prince who bound her into his service. Under the prince's orders, she located the wells of his enemies, and he poisoned them without her knowledge, causing hundreds of deaths. Oh, I'd feel bad too. After discovering what he had done, Mare went to great lengths to disappear from his reach. Then Mare's old handler returns with a proposition. Use her powers to bring down the very prince that abused them both. And the best way to do that is to destroy the magical well that keeps the prince's land safe. With a motley crew of allies, including a fey-cursed young man, the Lady of Thieves, and this is where you're losing me, a corgi that may or may not be a spy, Mare may finally be able to steal precious freedom and peace for herself. After all, a person with a knife is one thing, but a person with a cause can topple kingdoms. So, The Drowned Woods is set in the same world as the author's The Bone Houses, but with a whole new, unforgettable cast of characters, including a spy corgi. So, that is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones.
Interesting. I might pick that up. I love corgis. So this one, I believe, is a self-published book. I'm not sure how we slipped this one in, probably because it's about a vampire lord, but it's fine. It's
my
okay.
bad.
It's fine.
They tricked me.
It has this very romantic looking cover. For any YA readers who like romance and dark fantasy, this is probably up your alley. So this is called A Duel with the Vampire Lord, Married to Magic. It comes out August 18th. This is by Elise Kova. And the publisher is Silverwing Press, but it's actually Elise Kova's entire, that's her publishing company. All right, so here's what the story is about. On the night of the blood moon, the vampire lord must die. Floraine's position as the Forge Maiden, ooh, I like that, that's kind of cool, of Hunter's Hamlet is one of reverence, for it is her skill that arms and protects the vampire hunters. She knows her place and is a faithful servant to the master hunter and her community until the night of the blood moon, until her brother is dying at the hands of the vampire lord Ruvan. Wanting to defend her home at all costs, Floraine fights the vampire lord, ready to give her life if it means taking his. But Ruvan doesn't want to take her life. He wants her. Oh, God. Kidnapped and brought to the vampire castle, Floraine is now blood-sworn to the vampire lord. She is bound in mind and body to her worst enemy. But the vampire isn't the fiend she thought he was. She learns the truth about vampires. They are not mindless monsters, but a proud people, twisted and tortured by an ancient curse. Ruvan believes that Floraine might be the key to ending his people's suffering. All Floraine wants is to defend her home. Loyalties are tested and the lines between truth and lie is blurred. When her dagger is at his chest, will she be able to take the heart of the man who has claimed hers? Oh boy. So this is actually, it says it's kind of a reimagination, a dark reimagination of Snow White and Beauty and the Beast, which I definitely could tell right off the bat.
That's cool.
Yeah, this seems actually kind of a fun read. So this is called A Duel with the Vampire Lord. There's apparently 3 books in this whole series called Married to Magic, and this is by Elise Kova. What is next for you?
My next book is How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine. It comes out August 30. So, it's described as Scream meets Happy Death Day in a standalone horror novel. Alice Lawrence is the sole witness in her sister's murder trial. And in the years since Claire's death, Alice's life has completely fallen apart. Her parents have gotten divorced, she's moved into an apartment that smells like bologna, and she's being forced to face her sister's killer and a courtroom full of people who doubt what she saw in the corn maze a year prior. I'm sorry, I'm a
What?
bit tired of books about people getting killed in corn mazes, but anyway. Claire was an all-American girl, beautiful and bubbly, and a theater star. Alice was a nerd who dreamed of becoming a forensic pathologist, and she would rather stay at home and watch her favorite horror movies than party. Okay, I get you. I'm feeling it, Alice. Despite their differences, they were bonded by sisterhood and were each other's best friends until Claire was taken away from her. So it's the first day of the murder trial, and Alice is preparing to give her testimony, but she's knocked out by a Sidney Prescott lookalike in the courthouse bathroom. I don't know who Sidney Prescott is.
Is that Scream?
Is that from
I feel
Scream?
Like that's one of the yeah.
Okay. I saw that movie in the theater, but that's been like 20 years. Okay. So when she wakes up, it's Halloween night a year earlier, the same day Claire was murdered. So Alice has until midnight to save her sister and find the real killer before he claims another victim. This isn't sounding like a book for me, but I'm delighted to present it to you in case some of you are like, what the hell is happening, and you're dying to find out. It's for reading age 12 to 17 years or befuddled goth Grammies like me. It's How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine.
My next book is this one has been a huge book talk book. Everybody's talking about it. And the cover is stunning. So it has like a heart on the cover, but you couldn't really tell it's a heart because it's kind of covered with flowers on the very top. So it's really beautiful. It's called Lark. It's book 1, so I'm imagining there's going to be more books, but they're not sharing that. It comes out August 23rd. It's by Alex Astor. So welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lark appears to host the Centennial, a deadly game that only the rulers of 6 realms are invited to play. The invitation is a summons, a call to embrace victory and ruin, baubles and blood. The Centennial offers the 6 rulers one final chance to break the curses that have plagued their realms for centuries. Each ruler has something to hide. Each realm's curse is uniquely wicked. To destroy the curses, one ruler must die. So Isla Crown is the young ruler of Wildling. Ooh, I like this. A realm of temptresses cursed to kill anyone they fall in love with. Oh no. They are feared and despised and are counting on Isla to end their suffering by succeeding at the Centennial. To survive, Isla must lie, cheat, and betray, even as love complicates everything. This is okay. I have to pick this one up, I think. It sounds fun. It's like Hunger Games, but weird. I like it. So this is Lark. This is by Alex Astor. I'm definitely picking this one up. What is your next book?
My next one is The Memory Index. It's by Julian Ray Vaca, V-A-C-A. It comes out August 9 from Thomas Nelson Publishing. It's a speculative YA sci-fi novel where the world treats memories like currency, so your dreams can be a complicated business. So it's set in an alternative 1987. That was the year I graduated college. Anyway, or high school, excuse me. A disease ravages human memories. There's no cure. There's only artificial recall. The lucky ones, the recollectors, or recollectors, I should say, need the treatment only once a day. Well, there's some memories I don't want to get back. So Freya isn't lucky. The high school senior is a quote-unquote degen who needs artificial recall several times a day. She's plagued by blinding half-memories that take her to her knees. She's desperate to remember anything that can help her investigate her father's violent death. And then her sleuthing almost lands her in jail, where a shadowy school dean selects her to attend his Foxtail Academy, where 500 students are going to trial a new tech that's said to make artificial recall obsolete. She's the only degen on campus. Why was she chosen? Freya is nothing like the other students, not even her new friends Ollie, Chase, and the alluring Fletcher Cohen.
Ooh.
Definitely not at all like the students who start to vanish one by one and she's nothing like the mysterious Dean Mendelsohn, who has a bunker deep in the woods behind the school. I'm sorry. Nothing can prepare Freya and her friends for the truth of what that bunker holds, and what kind of memories she'll have to access to survive it.
Oh boy.
So, this book is part of the Memory Index duology. Book 1 is the Memory Index, and Book 2 is the Recall Paradox, coming in spring 2023. So that's a slight spoiler, because unless they switch protagonists, Freya makes it through the first book.
Darn it.
So that was The Memory Index by Julian Ray Vaca.
So my next book is called Moon Dark Smile. It comes out August 30th. This is by Tessa Gratton. And the cover is very pretty. In fact, the font that they use, well, the font is cool and all, but it has like this iridescent look to it. It almost looks like a moonstone. It's really cool what they did there. So let's see what this book is actually about. It says, ever since she was a girl, Relisle, that's a great name. I like that. So Relisle Dark Smiles, best friend, that's her full name.
Sorry.
Her best friend has been the great demon that lives in the palace. Ooh, okay, I like this. As the daughter of the emperor, Relisle appears cold and distant to those around her. But what no one understands is that she and the great demon, Moon, have a close and unbreakable bond and are together at all times.
Wow, that would be convenient.
I know.
Hey, go beat that person up for me.
That would be amazing. I'd love to have that.
Stick your own personal demon on someone. I'm sorry.
They'd be like a pet. Oh no. So Moon is bound to the emperor and his two consorts, Relisle's parents, and when Relisle comes of age, she will be bound to Moon as well, constrained to live in the palace for the rest of her days. I thought they were already bound. Interesting. Okay, so maybe Moon is bound to the emperor. Interesting. That's interesting. Weird. Okay, so Relisle is desperate to see the empire between 5 mountains, and she feels a deep kinship with Moon, who longs to break free of its bonds. When the time finally arrives for Relisle's coming-of-age journey, she discovers a dangerous way to take Moon with her, even as she hides this truth from her travel companion, the beautiful demon-kissed bodyguard, Ossian Redpop.
Okay, someone. Okay.
Sorry.
Someone needs to take a character naming workshop in writer school. I'm sorry.
Or they like went a little overboard. They were like, let's make this so fantasy that. Anyway. So, but Ossian is hiding secrets of his own, and when a plot surfaces that threatens the Empire, Relisle will have to decide who she can trust and what she'll sacrifice for the power to protect all that she loves. To be honest, I almost feel like you have to read the book because there's so many names in here that are unfamiliar where I know I was getting a little lost. But it sounds cool. I do like epic, dark YA fantasies. I think they're pretty fun. So this is called Moon Dark Smile by Tessa Gratton, and it comes out August 30th.
Isn't Tessa lucky that she has a pretty and realistic first name? Sorry. Okay. My next book is Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. It's by Delacorte Press and comes out August 30. So 4 years ago, Bryn left St. Ambrose School following the shocking murder of her favorite teacher, a story that made headlines after the teacher's body was found by 3 St. Ambrose students in the woods behind their school. The case was never solved. Now that Bryn's moving home and starting her dream internship at a true crime show, she's determined to find out what really happened. So the kids who found Mr. Larkin are her way in, and it happens to be that her ex-best friend Trip Talbot was one of them. Without his account of events, the other 2 kids might have gone down for Mr. Larkin's murder. But instead, thanks to Trip, they're now at the top of the St. Ambrose social pyramid. Trip's friends have never forgotten what Trip did for them that day, and neither has he. Just like he hasn't forgotten that everything he told the police was a lie.
Oh, wow.
So digging into the past is bound to shake up the present, and when Bryn begins to investigate what happened in the woods that day, she uncovers secrets that might change everything. 4 years ago, someone got away with murder. More terrifying is that they might be closer than anyone thinks. Dun, dun, dun! That is Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus.
My next book is actually a comic book. So it's called Over My Dead Body. It comes out August 30th. This is by Sweeney Boo, and they are the author and the illustrator. I'm looking forward to this because I love Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, so much. So this apparently has a lot of the same themes. I'm wondering if it's the same world, but I guess we can find that out. So in the days leading up to Samhain, the veil between the world of the dead and the living is at its thinnest. One day, everything was exactly as it was supposed to be. And the next, the closest thing Abby has ever had to a sister, Noreen, was just gone. Distracted by the annual preparations for the Samhain festival, Abby's classmates are quick to put Noreen's disappearance aside. Oh no! The coven will find her, Abby's friends say. They have it under control. But Abby can't let it go. Soon, a search for answers leads her down a rabbit hole that uncovers more secrets than Abby can handle. As mounting evidence steers her towards the off-limits woods that surround the academy, she begins to see that Noreen's disappearance mysteriously has a lot in common with another girl who went missing all those years ago. The art style in here is really, really fun and really unique. I don't know if this is just my computer doing this, but it has, I don't want to say too pixelated because it's a very clean looking art style, but it does seem to have like small pixelations. It's a little unique. Very pretty comic, clearly witchy. Everybody's wearing like these elaborate witch hats that are so pointy. So check it out. This is Over My Dead Body. This is a comic book. This is by Sweeney Boo.
My next book is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. It comes out August 9 from Viking Books for young readers, grade level 9 to 12 or reading age 14 to 17 years. It's described as The Haunting of Hill House meets Knives Out.
Whoa.
In a bid for an inheritance that will leave Helen Vaughn either rich or dead. So Helen Vaughn doesn't know why she and her mother left their ancestral home at Harrowstone Hall, called Harrow, or why they haven't spoken to their extended family since. So when her grandfather dies, she's shocked to learn that he has left everything, the house, the grounds, and the money, to her. The inheritance comes with one condition. She must stay on the grounds of Harrow for 1 full year, or she'll be left with nothing. Well, there's more at stake than money. For as long as she can remember, Harrow has haunted Helen's dreams, and now those dreams have become a waking nightmare. Helen knows if she's going to survive the year, and get her money, she needs to uncover the secrets of Harrow. Why is the house built like a labyrinth? What is digging the holes that appear in the woods each night? And why does the house itself seem to be making her sick? With each twisted revelation, she questions what she knows about Harrow, her family, and even herself. She no longer wonders if she wants to leave, but if she can leave. That's These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall, and I love haunted house books, so I'm going to pick this one up.
Yeah. My next book is called The Undead Truth of Us. It comes out August 9th. This is by Brittany Lewis. 16-year-old Zari Young is absolutely certain her mother morphed into a zombie before her untimely death.
Oh.
I know, random.
Or after her untimely death.
Right.
What?
Right. Oh, yeah. Why is it before? That's a question. But she can't seem to figure out why. Why her mother died, why her aunt doesn't want her around, why all of her dreams seem suddenly, hopelessly out of reach, and why ever since that day, she has been seeing zombies everywhere. Then Beau moves into her apartment building. Tall, skateboard in hand, freckles like stars, and an undeniable charm. Z wants nothing to do with him, but when he transforms into a half-zombie right before her eyes, something feels different. No, what is happening?
How are you half a zombie? Is it like the right side of your face is all creepy, or
Right.
the top half, or the... I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
I asked too many questions.
It's like your skin is all blue, but it's not falling off, I guess. So he contradicts everything she thought she knew about monsters, and she can't help but wonder if getting to know him might unlock the answers of her mother's death. But Z sifts through what's real and what's magic. She discovers a new truth about the world. Love can literally change you, for good or for dead. In this surrealist journey of grief, fear, and hope, Brittany Lewis, the author, this is her debut novel, explores love, zombies, and everything in between in an intoxicating amalgam of the real and the fantastic. This is for reading ages 12 through 18, and this is really similar to, I feel like there was like a Swedish book that kind of covered something really similar to this that ended up being a movie, I think? Or am I can't remember. But anyway, check this out. This is called The Undead Truth of Us. It has a beautiful cover, a lady covered in sunflowers, and it is by Brittany Lewis.
Before I chat about my next book, I just wanted to remind you guys that if you'd like to, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Dark Side of the Library, on both of them, and please don't forget to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening to us over there. It helps other dark readers find our podcast. My next book is part of the Book of Tea series by Judy I. Lynn. It's a Venom Dark and Sweet, the Book of Tea number 2. It's the conclusion to a magic steeped in poison. So a great evil has come to the kingdom of Doxy. The banished prince has returned to seize power, and his rise to the dragon throne is aided by the mass poisonings that have kept the people bound in fear and distrust. Ning is a young but powerful Shenengshi, a wielder of magic using the ancient and delicate art of tea making.
Whoa.
Yes, they've escorted Princess Zhen into exile. Joining them is the princess's loyal bodyguard, Rui, and Ning's newly healed sister, Shu. Together, the 4 young women travel throughout the kingdom in search of allies to help oust the invaders and take back Zhen's rightful throne. But the Golden Serpent still haunts Ning's nightmares with visions of war and bloodshed. An evil far more ancient than the petty conflicts of men has awoken, and all the magic in the land may not be enough to stop it from consuming the world. I love any book that adds poisonings and tea to ancient evil and conflict and nightmares. That sounds awesome. This is a Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy I. Lynn.
My final book for today is, and it's not the final book, but mine is Wild as the Witch. It comes out August 2nd. It's by Rachel Griffin. So it says, after a night of magic turns deadly, Iris Gray vows to never let another person learn she's a witch. It doesn't matter that the witch's council found her innocent or that her magic was once viewed as a marvel. That night on the lake changed everything. Now settled in Washington, oh, she's here. Iris hides who she really is and vents her frustrations by writing curses she never intends to cast. Almost like, when you write those nasty letters to people and you burn them. That's kind of what I'm getting. And while she loves working at the wildlife refuge she runs with her mother, she loathes Pike Alder, the witch-hating, aspiring ornithologist who interns with them.
Wait, aspiring ornithologists, like they want to study birds?
Yeah, but also is a witch hater.
Study bird. Weird. Okay, sorry.
Random. Okay, so when Pike makes a particularly hurtful comment, Iris concocts a cruel curse for him. But just as she's about to dispel it, an owl swoops down and steals the curse before flying far away from the refuge. The owl is a powerful amplifier, and if it dies, Iris's dark spell will be unleashed, not only on Pike, but everybody in the region. So forced to work together, Iris and Pike trek through the wilderness in search of the bird that could cost Pike his life. But Pike doesn't know the truth. And as more dangers arise in the woods, Iris must decide how far she's willing to go to keep her secrets safe. This sounds interesting. I now see why she has to partner up with him because of the owl bit, but anyway. So this is Wild is the Witch. It comes out August 2nd. This is by Rachel Griffin.
My final book today is called Yield, the Titanium Trilogy Book 1. It's by Kirsty Bright, and it's from Untuned Publishings Ltd. So it might be self-published. I don't know. I forgot to check. So I was intrigued by it because the tagline is, "We must evolve if we want to survive. The world as we know it is ending. The farm, capital T, capital F, offers children protection from the destruction, but there's a price to be paid for their safety. Once inside the gates, the children undergo an extreme transformation, turning them into the most ruthless of weapons, hybrids, part human, part animal." This is kind of reminding me of the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson, but let me continue. Ares is unlike the rest. Waking 14 years after the experiment, he shies away from danger, fears hurting others, and resists the training program that's intended to help him get used to his new abilities, or it will kill him. But the farm is hiding secrets, and if Ares is going to survive, he'll have to surrender all that he believes in and everyone he cares about in order to discover the truth. Would you sacrifice your humanity to save the ones you love? Do you like reading about hybrids? That's Yield, the Titanium Trilogy Book 1 by Kirsty Bright. And that's my final book for this month.
Awesome. So that is our entire list of all of the young adult novels coming out in August 2022. If you are looking for additional reads, stay tuned for our future podcasts or check out some previous podcasts. I know that I'm still catching up on June and July and probably even like January. So we've got a long list of stuff. Speaking of the list, you can check out our show notes at darksideofthelibrary.com. These are affiliate links, like we said before, but it helps out with the podcast if you do purchase from there. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and check us out on our Amazon Live channel at amazon.com/live/darksideofthelibrary. We do a lot of stuff over there, not just books, but trivia games. All of it's horror-oriented, so come over, have fun. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a creeptastic week.